name's Peter Stetina.
My name is Ian Boswell.
My name's Kiel Reijnan, and I am 37 years old. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 6.5-year-old. I'm currently a professional gravel racer, but I spent almost a decade and a half racing professionally on the road.
You know, from a junior 15-year-old all the way to the Tour de France. I did 2 tours for 8 Grand Tours in total, a couple World Championships.
Kind of came through the ranks here in the US, and then when I was 21, I signed for Team Sky, which that was kind of like my childhood dream, to make it to the World Tour, and then I made it to kind of the highest level of the sport. Then I wanted to race the Tour de France, did that in 2018.
Pete and Ian and myself, we go back a long ways. I lived with Pete for about 3 years in Spain together.
We were both chasing that pro dream, so we were on different teams at the time, and he entered the European scene a couple years after I did, and so we actually ended up being roommates. And Ian and I really started to bond after our pro tour days. We had both kind of stepped away in the same year.
And then in 2019, I guess when I was 28, kind of still at the pinnacle of kind of development in my career, I had a bad crash and suffered a pretty consequential TBI. And so I actually retired from professional racing in 2019, halfway through the year, and then found a love for the bike again, found gravel racing was kind of coming up in the US especially, and you know, my recovery process was going well and found myself back at bike events, back racing.
So we are in Bend, Oregon this weekend for the Cascade Gravel Grinder, and it was a wonderful excuse to get together and have not just ourselves but our families with us.
You know, let's like all come together, let's bring our families, because we see each other at all these races, but oftentimes our families don't get together. You know, our wives just met for the first time here, our kids just met for the first time here.
So Bend had always had a special place in my heart as a bike racing place. And then in 2017, Kiel, my other friend Alex Howes, who's in this group of friends, and we rented a house together, and we got the okay from our World Tour teams at the time to come to Bend and race as the national team and do the Cascade Cycling Classic once again. No stress and fun days and going to a brewery afterwards and floating in the river and racing bikes really hard with your friends. You want to get the band back together? Yeah, let's go back to Bend.
Yeah, it was an easy decision for Pete to convince me to come because my family's still here, so we were going to plan on coming back to Bend at some point anyways.
Is it going to be like this for long?
There will be most.
It's weird. It's like, how do you have to be so much? There's no timing chip on it. Yeah, not on.
37.35.
28 and a half, 29 and a half.
Not even close. Scratch that one.
No! What happened? I don't see any dirt on you.
Oh, yeah, I was good. Guy in front of me, big time.
He what?
But it's great to be able to just see everyone at this stage of their life and how much it's changed from those days when we were, you know, oftentimes alone in Europe, racing our bikes to be here with families. It's a lot more tiring. It's a lot more chaotic, but it's also fun. And I think, you know, you kind of gradually build up the stamina of being a parent. And like, you know, if you were to just drop me into this situation when I was 24, I would be way in over my head. But you slowly learn how to manage being a parent and, you know, still trying to ride your bike.
I finally understand why Kiel was always so tired in the World Tour. Kiel was the first one of us to have kids. And now I get it.
I think it's really fun personally to see my friends as parents and watch the way they parent and think about how they are as people and how they are as bike racers and competitive athletes, and see just how that translates to how they're dealing with parenting, because it's not always easy.
truck is like just got dog hair and crumbs and like Cheerios. Oh, I turned it off. Cool. Shows you how good I am.
That's a dad move.
I have been trying to convince Gretchen to get a minivan.
Rims.
Yeah, Jordan was the one who didn't want to do it, and I did it, and then it had a bunch of problems. Here's the biggest thing: in and out of the car seat. When you have the slider door, it's this huge open like cavity, and you just put the child in straight.
Yeah, you're not trying to reach like
Yeah, you're not trying to like
across.
down, up, in, sideways.
Yeah.
It's really hard on the L5. Like as long as it's got slider doors.
Yeah.
Straight
Slider doors clutch.
And runs like completely just like we're like flying, just hit. Yeah.
Come up there, Ian! Sprint for it, Kiel! Come on! Good fool for bringing the water.
I was just on all day. We just had fun though. Like a big hard group ride in the Oregonian outback. Boz sold his soul for the group and I was able to come around.
I'm pretty cheap. I'll lead it out for a burrito.
Yeah, the bet was a burrito for a lead out. And a side of guac because he did so well.
Yeah.
So did we finish in order of children's, like how long we've had it to,
Yes, we did.
like the battle of
How
parenthood?
long we have had kids. The longer you have kids, the slower you become.
Oh God.
Did to my leg. What do you do?
That's a fun day out.
Cheers.
That was a lot of fun. Cheers. Oh.
I like
Massage therapists are showing up for our better halves at 1 o'clock. It is 12:02, so we have to get down this massive pass in 58 minutes. Ideally 48 so we can shower.
Yeah.
So we got a time trial. This aid station has been too long.
I do have a idea. What if these guys go pick us up burritos in the car?
Would you guys be on burrito mission?
Little fork for you and your sister. I'm right here. You are okay.
Post-race meal. Post-nap meal. I got the other one sleeping here. Yeah. You're not number one anymore, right? And as a pro athlete, your job dictates that you're supposed to be your number one first and foremost. You know, it's a selfish pursuit. So the fact that you're not is a complete mindset and a total shift. And puts a lot in perspective.
Yes, we're here. We're riding bikes. We're trying to do the best we can, but we're also just like, it's nice to be able to share this with our families, you know, and to be eager today when we finish the race to be like, hey, we got to jam down the hill. Let's ride back as quick as we can so we can, you know, get back and see our families. And
I think the really cool thing about what we're doing here is we're having relatable experiences. We aren't just athletes, we're also parents. And that's the case for most people who are athletes. And it doesn't matter if you're a professional or an amateur, those experiences are really similar.
So, parenting and bike racing. It's biggest day is tomorrow, but he passed out early. So, put him down, do bedtime routine, then I get a half race meal.
I'm in this weight range.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. See the finish.
line.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, here he is.
How'd it go?
Good. I won the overall.
You did?
Whoa!
Did you win the stage?
No, Ian won the stage in a sprint.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Hi. Hey, Bubba. Yeah. Ah. Ah. Hi, kiddo.
He's got a sticker.
Hey.
Not really any plans.
Oh, yo go.
And then now to see them back here with kids of their own and come in full circle and you know, in the trajectory of the pro tour and all the stuff that they've accomplished in their careers, and then come back around to see them all here is just, I mean, it's been an amazing experience. It's been so wonderful to have all those guys back hanging out with us, and because you can easily go down the rabbit hole where your career is everything and you're so hyper focused on that. Kids allow you to maintain that career, but then also be able to step back and kind of take a larger look around and have a more balanced and, in my mind, fruitful life.
We're all going through the same stuff. We're all, you know, missing sleep, you know, doing all these things that we would have freaked out about in the world tour. But, you know, now it's just who we are and what we do, and, you know, we're kind of, yeah, maybe bonded closer together and have more mutual respect, knowing that we're all going through the same thing.
Pick up tips and tricks from those guys. So it's like, you know, I'm kind of like the young gun here in the fathering world. So seeing how they're doing it, you know, I probably fuss over more than I should, and whereas they're just like whatever on some things. So it's good to surround yourself with, you're always learning.
We were friends before we got married, we were friends before we had kids, and so we've seen each other go through a lot of life transitions, and that brings friends either further apart or closer together. And in this case, I'm really proud to say that it's brought our friendships closer together.